Hey everybody, I'm Philip, and it has been a minute since I have done this kind of video. As you can tell by the title, it's because I got the plague. I am recovering. I had hoped that since I eat clean and take care of myself to the best of my ability, that I would somehow be exempt from catching it, but that was not the case at all. And of course, it's just my luck that I would get said plague when there was a vaccine rolling out as we speak. But what's interesting about it is not just that it's so potent and so controversial in many ways, with people not believing it exists and thinking it's a scam or some ploy by the government or something. And you can have your opinion. I have family that believes in that, and it's the same family that when I posted that I did have it and updates and stuff, not one of them, they didn't bother to respond. But that's good. That's good. Now I know where the lay of the land is, and we can go from there. And also, since I never go outside, I've not been outside in a long time, mostly because people suck and I don't like to be around them, and I'm much more comfortable in my own space. So I'd hoped that I had some kind of like barrier to protect myself from it, but that was not the case. That was not to be. One of the interesting things, not only is it controversial and all that, it's interesting how it manifests itself differently for so many people. And that's what fascinates me, not in like a good way, just like in a logical viewpoint way, how it just doesn't hit everyone the same. And people have similar symptoms, but it's not the same for every single person. What I went through was not the same as what some of my friends went through, and hearing the feedback was just very eye-opening on how some kind of invasive, thing can enter your body and then just manipulate things, kind of tailoring itself to or things that you're susceptible to, I guess. I don't know. It's just so bizarre that it works like this. Since I was so ill, the only two types of content I could put out were Doctor Who and World of Warcraft. Doctor Who because Justin and I had luckily binged a bunch of them the weekend prior to me getting sick. And then Warcraft is just because I taught myself how to stream, which is easy for everyone else. I'm old as fuck. It's not easy for an older brain to comprehend that newfangled technology. So I had to try and teach myself OBS and this whole thing, blah, blah, blah. So anyways, I got it all set up, and so I could stream on Twitch, because Warcraft historically has been something I could do when dealing with the pain of my constant condition, which is why I started playing in 2009. So one set of videos were because they just happened to be recorded prior, and the other set is because it's something I could do during. Here's how it manifested itself for me. End of the first week, I started feeling like I had a head cold. And it was nothing out of the ordinary. Like, I really don't get colds or flus or whatnot anymore, knock on wood, because there's just certain things I don't eat. So I don't poison my body with, chemicals and whatnot. And I'm not trying to be preachy. It's just how I choose to, intake food and whatnot. But one of the benefits of watching what you eat and eating clean is your immune system operates at a higher level. There's the notion that illness makes you sick, and it is true. But what makes you sick is your immune system's inability to thwart whatever's going around. And for a few years now, any flu or cold or anything that's come and gone, I didn't get. It's really you are what you eat. And if you eat, toxic things, your body's going to be a host for toxic things. So bringing it back to the head cold, I had that, and it was very minor. It was like a 3 out of 10 on the pain scale, and it wasn't too obtrusive. I could still do things. And every once in a while, I'll get, like, every time the seasons change, I'll get seasonal allergies still, and maybe slight swelling. And that's what this felt like. Now, granted, the seasons were changing. We are firmly in winter. I just thought it was just another seasonal allergy thing, and then it went away for 2 days. After 2 days, I started feeling very fatigued. Nothing major. It wasn't like boom, hit me like a sack of bricks or anything. It was just kind of like kind of lethargic. I just didn't want to do anything, and I was like, oh my god, am I going through like through a lazy phase? Because I hate those. Because I like to be productive. I think of this as my job. So my motto's always been, if Justin's working, I'm working. It's only fair. And if I had a time card, most weeks I work upwards of 60 hours, and that's fine. I've said in previous videos, I love doing this. But when I hit that phase, it's just snap out of it. Come on, come on. You got to do it. Come on. We're gonna guilt trip ourselves if we don't. Come on, get it. Don't make us guilt trip ourselves, because we will. But no, it just wouldn't leave. And then I thought I was losing my mind. Legitimately, I'm not even joking on this. I started smelling cigarette smoke, very faint, and once in a while, just like, do I smell smoke? That kind of thing. It wasn't consciously, like it just came at me like in a small wave. And I thought that the neighbor downstairs was smoking again. This time, cigarettes. So I would walk, and I would go down the steps, and I would, be a bloodhound down by the door and sniff, and and I would smell it, and I'm like, motherfucker, she's smoking again. And after I've done everything I could to not tell the landlord and to keep it between us and to handle things like an adult talking to a child, and then it went away. I'm like, okay, fine. Maybe it was just a one-off thing. Maybe she had some really banging sex and wanted a cigarette after. Can't fault her for that. I mean, I could, because smoking's gross, but you know what? You do you. Then the next day, smelled it more. Same thing. Getting kind of irritated, bloodhounding around the place. Just in a huff. Working on the Doctor Who videos, because I wasn't feeling up to recording anything. And yeah. So then day 3 came, and day 3 was bad. I mean, bad. It smelled like someone was smoking in the room with me. I would be sitting here and I'd be editing Doctor Who, or at the time I was recording Warcraft on like me on the phone and recording it, screen capturing it before I finally figured out the stream thing. So I'd be editing like 2 to 4 hours of that. It just smelled like an ashtray. I hate the smell of cigarettes. Weed, I prefer not to smell it where I live, but I don't mind the smell so much. If I can leave whenever I want and the smell goes away, but I don't want it like where I'm stuck. I grew up with that, and it kind of sticks with you. Even when I did smoke years ago, I would go outside. So yeah, it smelled like a gross ashtray. By now, I am like, okay, something's going on. This is disgusting. Okay. And it would just be hard to sleep because it's not a smell I enjoy. I don't like the smell of cigarettes or cigarette smoke. I'm allergic to it, which was another warning sign to me that something was up. I didn't know what, but something was up. Because if the smell of cigarettes is that potent and that bad, and it is affecting me that much that I can smell it, I can taste it, why am I not breaking out? Because cigarette smoke makes me break out. I have severe allergic reactions to it, like cigarette smoke and colognes, perfumes, dyes, fragrancy things, candles, if they're really strong, will all make me break out. It's stupid. It's dumb. But I wasn't. But as potent as it was, I should have been. And I'm like, what if this is all in my head? I was like, what if this, oh my God. I mean, there are, medical things where if you smell things that aren't there, something's wrong. You need to go to the hospital, the doctor, get checked on. Something might be up. So when Justin got home that day from work, I asked him, I said, have you been smelling cigarette smoke? And he said, no. Came in here, sat down, I called Justin in, and I was like, you don't smell cigarette smoke here. You don't. And he says, no, it just smells like stale air. And Justin's not one to tell me what I want to hear. He'll tell you the plain truth, which is great about him. If you want the plain truth about something, you ask him, he'll tell you. So I knew he wasn't, trying to be nice or anything. And I knew that as strong as I smelled it, if he didn't smell it, it didn't exist. And it got worse and worse. We're ramping up day 3 into day 4, which we're going into now. Woke up day 4, not feeling terribly well. On day 4, Justin leaves for work. I Google, I smell cigarette smoke. That isn't there. And the first thing that came up on top of the page in a big giant box said a symptom of COVID is unusual smells that aren't there or cigarette smoke smell. And that's when I knew that I had it. So on one hand, yay, I'm not crazy. But on the other hand, boo. I have the plague. And I am pissed. I'm pissed that I have it. I'm pissed that I went almost a year without getting it and I have it now. You know, now I have to suffer through this thing. So, you know, and I immediately just self-quarantined. I had a friend come over and bring me over a lot of, like, you know, I have oxygen here and I got my inhaler out because as it went on, as I knew what it was for about a week, from then on for about a week, it was boom. Everything here, well, it started here, went like this, then like this. It just kind of, you know, just kind of spread itself down into like about to here. So from here, like in this little box, not into my, like it came, like it got to my chest a little bit at the top, but it didn't get like really deep into my lungs. And it's like when I get head colds or whatnot, very rarely, and they're very light. It's never respiratory, you know, and I don't have excess phlegm because I'm not producing excess phlegm and I'm not doing damage to my body from it. So it wasn't phlegmy. It was just like, I felt hot and not physically, because obviously, I mean, look at me, but I just felt really warm and really swollen and just, ugh. And everything smelled like cigarette smoke. Everything. And every breath, every taste. It was just like the cigarette smell was so pervasive that it was just like, it like coated the inside of me. And it was like a kind of a personal hell in a way. And I'm not trying to be like over dramatic or anything. It was not fun. Like, just think of one of the worst smells that you don't like, and then that's what you are trapped with, and there's nothing you can do about it except to suffer through it. And that's when the Doctor Who and Warcraft on Twitch stuff really took over, because it was something I could do while I was ill and still make content, and at the same time take my mind off of what I was feeling, and it was awful. And I was like that for about a week and a half. I had a fever for one day, only one day. And it was like 100 point something. It was barely a fever, but I felt like I had that dragon breath, like when you're sick and your breath is just hot. That's what it felt like. And then as slowly as it came on, and then boom hit, it slowly has been dissipating. And slowly, the cigarette smell morphed. It didn't go away completely. It morphed into bonfire smell, which was an improvement. I will say that. I don't mind the smell of bonfires as much. And then it would be flashes of cigarette smell, which I still get. It's like maybe once a day, maybe once or twice a day. I'll get a flash of either bonfire smell or cigarette smell. But I've been pretty much able to breathe for about 4 days now, 4 to 5 days now. Breathe normally, breathe the air around me, and not breathe, you know, what I was smelling before, which is thank you. I don't want to go through that again. And then today has been the first day that I have felt physically okay enough to record a video on this, because I wanted to. I do have some still like latent issues, like one of them being, and I don't want to gross anybody out, but my mouth is producing saliva just under my tongue, and it pools there. And it's why I'm hoping this video, it's why I'm hoping this video doesn't sound disgusting, because I'm trying to talk before it happens again. I have to take a break and get rid of it before it happens again. It's like this weird reservoir under my mouth. It's almost like I could feel the glands right here, like making saliva. It's just, sorry if it's not comfortable. And it's been like that for days now. But and then I still have the the slight swelling feeling like here. My throat feels much better. There was a couple of days I couldn't talk, and I didn't because it was so swollen and it hurt so much. But I also can't talk a lot, so I'm kind of pushing it with this video right now because I can feel my throat starting to get scratchy. And that's kind of where things are right now. It kind of went ooh, like that. I'm hoping in the next week or so I'll be back to full capacity, for me at least. And it's disappointing because prior to that, I was, getting back into stretches, and I was riding the bike. I was trying to actively do things that were healthy, and then boom, this hit, and I had to stop everything. And, self-quarantine, all that. Couldn't cook. Lived off ramen and Gatorade. And I love ramen, y'all, but man, I do not like Gatorade. So that was not fun either. So you'll see me drinking Gatorade on streams if you watch any of the Twitch videos. But I think what scared me the most was it going to go to my lungs? Because I have a history of respiratory issues, and I was really worried about that. Luckily, knock on wood, it didn't, and I attribute that, as said, to how I take care of myself as far as food goes and what I eat and what I don't eat. The idea that the food is making you sick, not the illness, something to look into, something to consider. it was just scary having something that people have died from, and knowing that I did have certain respiratory issues, and if it went there, I'm not sure, it was scary. So it was very much a, try and follow the rules of what you were supposed to do. As I said, I drank so much water. I was downing about 4 to 5 of these a day. And even then, it just didn't feel like enough. And the fact that it smelled like smoke, and the fact that, I don't know how else to put it, like it feels like you're being roasted from the inside, like you're being cooked from the inside, and you can smell your own body cooking. And we have to drink water to satiate that, because if you don't, your body's going to cook faster and higher at a hotter level. So you try and put the fire out with water. That's what it felt like for me. So that was my experience with having the plague, and still kind of having it, slowly getting over it. But I also feel like I got off a little easy with it based on the severity that people I know have had it, that talk to me on Facebook and whatnot, when I was talking about, my own dealings with having COVID. So I just wanted to give a little update on why the channel's been very, duotone lately. And that's it. I've had the plague. So for anyone new that is watching, my channel is not just Doctor Who and Warcraft. It has been for a while now, and will continue to probably be for a while. I have about 10 Warcraft videos I have not uploaded yet, because I don't want just anyone to think this is a gaming channel. It is, but it's not primarily a gaming channel. It's a gaming channel and a review channel and a reaction channel and all kinds of stuff. I am going to try and make new content in the future. Me and Justin need to pick up Doctor Who again. We managed to finish season 1 rather, but it's been going on 3 weeks now, and we haven't been able to start season 2 yet. The one that I was really anxious to get to for obvious reasons. And it's just weird, especially if you enjoy the person that you're around, to have to not be around them. It sucks to not be able to cook and not be able to hang out and not be able to watch movies or watch TV shows or talk. The one way we figured a way to hang out was that I would play Warcraft and stream it on Twitch, and he would watch it, and I would talk to him through, the camera and whatnot. So we had to kind of come up with ways to spend time together. And it's not been fun. It's not been fun. If you have not had the plague, consider yourself lucky. If you have had the plague, I'm sorry. It is not enjoyable, obviously. And your experience was probably different from mine, because I heard from a lot of people online when I posted about it, my friends and whatnot, were telling me how they went through it. Like, I had a friend that had a massive fever the entire time. I had another friend who was smelling swamp smell. Where I smelled cigarette smoke, they smelled like swampy smell. And I'm like, ugh, like which one's worse? Like, oh man, I felt so bad. Other people had phlegmy cough, like head cold kind of stuff. Other people had it for a day and were okay, which is what I assumed Justin was like. Because the first time I felt like it was a head cold in the very beginning, Justin was ill like that the very next day. He kind of felt eh. But then from then on, he's been fine. Maybe a carrier. I think he might just be asymptomatic, and he's very lucky, because I would not wish this upon him at all. That has been my long-winded explanation and experience of not only why the channel has been the way it's been, but also what I've been going through while the channel's been the way it's been. And it's been interesting to analyze and to deal with. And when I like to think of myself as an analytical person that analyzes and then assesses things around me, and not just people's actions and my own actions and all that stuff, but also what happens. And going through this, it was a balance of, oh my God. But then there's a little part of my head back here that was analyzing it and trying to piece it together, make sense of it. And I'm still trying to do that. It was, I keep saying interesting but it was, because I've never ever had anything like this ever happen to me before. I have never ever had a smell permeate the inside of my body that wasn't there. That's weird. So, it's weird to analyze. And then, to think about, what if we're being cooked from the inside, and then the water and all that. So hoping that I continue to recover and continue to feel better. I hope to have some new content up that isn't just Doctor Who and Warcraft in the future. But for now, I'm going to sign off because this feeling of trying to talk while the saliva thing is happening is really uncomfortable. And this video is way longer in just recording than I expected it to be because I have to keep stopping to try and clear my mouth. It's gross. I'm sorry. As always, I don't have a fancy outro, but I'll simply say thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video, hopefully soon. Until then, goodbye.